Hello everyone and welcome back to Defender's Quest Valley of the Forgotten. Let's battle! So some dragons are trustworthy? In the beginning, all dragons served the flame. And the flame sent them into the world to serve as shining examples to men. But some dragons, when they saw the works of men, the shining gold and the bright jewels, coveted them. They thought no longer of serving the cosmic flame, but instead abused their powers for their own aggrandizement? Whatever. Looting and hoarding, they became pathetic and ruined creatures, a mockery of their true purpose. Others spent so long in the world that they forgot who had sent them and why. They wandered the earth, not fallen, but with only a shadowy recollection of their true calling. Finally, the fewest and wisest of them stayed true to the Great Fire. These are the only ones you wish to meet. The ones who have forgotten are dangerous and unpredictable, but sometimes give blessings and fortune. The fallen lead only to destruction. Which do you think our companion is? She is either fallen or forgotten. For our sakes, I hope. We are here, mortals. Now you shall serve your task. Is this a nest? Each night the enemy attacks. I fend off hundreds, but they keep coming. Each morning more of my children are missing. Why would a revenant want dragons? Now is not the time for questions, mortal. The enemy is here. Now is the time for fire. Okay. I seem to recall putting a healer here was kind of useful. And then possibly someone to weaken armor, and then possibly the rest of my berserkers can just kind of be here. Except for here, we'll put a slower. And I guess you can go here. I don't remember where I put my rangers. This will do, and not much point putting them here. Maybe here. And here. And then a healer can go right here to hit them all, and I guess a snare. And we'll put the dragon right here. And then boosty and boosty and boosty. And I don't know, let's boost the healers, why not? And go. See how this works out. Okay, I think we're fine. It was close though. Holy light. I think that's actually kind of a good thing to have. Increasing range, always nice. Critical or bleed? Let's go for criticals first. Well, why not? And the dragon can now poison. Dance for us, blood of the slain. Sing for the glory of the master. Spill, spurt, wash the world till he comes again. Your children are safe, mighty one. You have served well, mortal. We have upheld our end of the bargain. Yes, yes, of course. But my children are too famished to travel to the room you seek. It has been many months, THS, difficult, very difficult, since last we fed. Is there any way we can help? You are bold for a mortal. Yet, possibly. Perhaps one or two of your companions are expendable? The oaf with the strange eyes, for instance. Or the angry silent girl filled with distrustful glances. How about something else? Like, sheep, for instance. Nice, delicious, succulent young sheep. I suppose it may be sufficient. But hurry, my patience wears thin. Side quest time. Actually, I don't think it's side quest time. Okay, Nero. I've heard about dragons many times. They were a childhood obsession of my cousin's, and she hungrily devoured any legend I could find at the library, from Poleman's scientific postulations to nomad folktales. These stories were regurgitated to me in typical childish fashion, backwards and scrambled and without pauses for breath. Despite the quality of the lectures, a good deal of the material lodged in recesses of my mind. Now that I keep company with a flesh and blood dragon, I find these childish lessons flooding back. Over the course of this adventure, I have learned to expect my preconceptions to be largely inaccurate when confronted with the living subject of my study. However, in this instance I find my education spot on. Nero is fat, greedy, selfish, haughty, overgrown lizard given to hoarding and delusions of divinity. Such a powerful creature is indeed a very real danger. She has expressed no qualms whatsoever about consuming members of our party, killing anything that mildly irritates her, and generally treats all mortal things as beneath her. Superiority is often the champion of ignorance. Nero has in her possession a treasured dragon-sized goblet. Had she not felt the written language of ash beneath her, she would have known that the inscription actually states that the artifact in question is nothing less than Lord Radamal's chamber pot. Whenever I become exasperated with her airs, I need only think of her gleeful use of this goblet. Speech. Today, while carrying out the whims of a fat, stupid, terrifying, fortunately illiterate lizard, I stumbled across a collection of scrolls. Most were old and mildewed beyond their recognition, but one remained legible. I was shocked to recognize the Lord Regent's Ascension speech. It is with great solemnity and deepest sorrow that I take up the robe and office of Lord Regent. We stand at people doubly bereaved. No sooner had we been made orphans by the death of High King Xanimal, but our mourning ears were assailed by the news of Crown Prince Zelamir's death on the battlefield. Though the ship be unsteady and the course unknown, I assure you a new day crests the horizon. I ask you to accept my captainage till the firstborn of the fountain, the blood of Ashtaman, rise up to take the helm and lead his people to peace. It seems many lifetimes ago that I stood in the capital and listened to these words from the mouth of the Lord Regent himself. What a great gulf stands between me and that young girl who wept in the temple square, wondering how the sun would rise without a king in ash. Okay, next battle. Nero is hungry. Azra offers an alternative to human flesh, so we deal with sheep and swift sheep. Sheep? Really? That's the best you could come up with? Look, I'm just trying to keep people from getting eaten, okay? What do you think is going to happen when we fail to find these magical sheep you promised? I just said what popped into my head. And the first thing that popped into your head was sheep? Does this look like a pasture to you? No, the first thing that popped into my head was, yeah, take the annoying skinny girl with the black hair that doesn't ever shut up. What doesn't shut up, me or my hair? Either of you! You know, I don't even need to come up with a witty retort, because that statement is just so innately Okay, this is just... I'm impressed, Azra. Not many people know about the secret sheep stores beneath Quaid cities. They're usually just for when the city is besieged, but in this case I think we can make an exception. I just hope they haven't gone feral. Feral? With the city abandoned for so long, they'll have had little to eat but cave fungus and each other. They get nasty. Someday I would really like to meet a horde of something that doesn't try to kill me. From the looks of it, today is not that day. There's actually surprisingly good writing in this game, I have to say. Okay, probably won't need healers that much. I don't know if these things even attack. I don't believe they do. Anyway. Let's put down an ice mage and, I don't know, another ice mage. I think most of them will come from this way, but I'll still only start defending here where all of them will be. I also don't believe they're armored. I'm not sure though. Okay, let's go. Okay, let's slow it down a little bit so I actually have time to boost my guys. Not too much though. Okay, I think we're fine. Survived unharmed. Yeah, more armor break, definitely. And you also get more armor break. Strike through to ice shard, yep. You also get the range bonus, you get that, and Nero, you can... I never really boost her at this point, so let's improve bite. My children feast and grow strong. We have upheld our end of the bargain, Nero. Very well, I will take you to this royal records room, but I have a final stipulation. When you are done, you must take us with you out of this pit. You have wings, can't you just fly out? You ask too many questions, mortal. Even one as useful as you may be burned for offense. Fine, we would be happy to have you with us. As you should be. But all of you must fight like everyone else. You drive a hard bargain, mortal. Your audacity amuses me. As long as my children are compensated for their labors, we shall bring fire to your enemies. And so we enter the next town. Journal. Addendum. For all of her general ambivalence to everything outside herself, Nero is a remarkably caring parent. When I see her fret over her brood's well-being, I cannot help but remember my own mother. It is a strange thought to have of a gigantic monster that threatens to emulate or devour you on a near-daily basis, but it is what I felt. I know such sympathy would get me killed, but I cannot fathom the loss she must feel over her young that the Revenant carried away. It seems this great tragedy of our time touches even the most powerful and aloof among us. Over the years we have collected many mortal arms and armors in our hoard. We have no use for them, but they have a certain shininess, and we enjoy shiny things. I am sure a warband like your own could put them to great use. For the right price, of course. Man, that sheep stew is fantastic. I regurgitated that for my children. Got any more? So yeah, we could buy some more weapons here. I actually think it's time to improve my rangers. I do like them quite a bit. Okay, can I buy any armor? Could, but I cannot afford the best, so I just ignore it. I could also recruit another dragon. Heavy damage, can eat enemies and set them on fire, expensive but awesome. Yeah, Zrask, why not? Let's make it a blue dragon. No wait, what's the Yu-Gi-Oh thing? It's white and blue eyes, right? Let's go with that. We are leaving now. Elder Bakal? It was frighteningly simple, really, to destroy the world. Zalamir took me out, far into the eastern desert, to a dark cave. We came to a great crystal, 30 feet tall. There we bled ourselves on the face of the rock. The wound has never healed. At first I thought nothing had happened. But Zalamir, he entered some kind of trance. I waited. The sun set, and all around us I heard the howling of wild desert beasts. Still, Zalamir didn't move. Not even when a great wolf leaped into our camp. I ran it through with my sword, and it spasmed its last breath at Zalamir's feet. He did not even notice. We passed 3 nights like this. At the dawn of the 3rd day, he blinked 3 times and stood up. Our problems are solved, he said. When we returned to our camp, the enemy force was completely routed. The plague had begun. Each day he spent more time like that, entranced, shut off to this world and open to somewhere else. Within a month, half the Quaid Empire lay dead, dying, or worse. The horizon blazed with the glow of the corpse fires. Cities tore themselves apart. I saw things even the war had not prepared me for. I knew it had to stop. But Zalamir, he was no longer open to my words. Each day he stayed longer in his trances, until at last he ceased to come out of them at all. I waited 3 days. Each day thousands died. Finally at dawn I walked into his tent. He did not notice me. He no longer noticed anything. I ran him through. I buried him in the desert dust, but the plague continued, spilling over borders, consuming everything in its path. On my long march home, I ran across a band of Selene monks. I cast my sword away and threw myself at their feet. I have lived a monk's life ever since. But now, the friend I killed has returned a monster. This is the dark magic we contend with, Ezra. I pray these records hold the key to its destruction. So do we all, Elder. Okay. I can try one more battle, I guess. Here you are, mortals, the Royal Records Room. What does it say? The bloodletting makes sense now. It appears to be some sort of ritualistic seal. Descendants, blood of the firstborn. We broke a seal made by the blood of our ancestors. This blood seal can only be unbound by the blood of the ones who created it. But they are all long dead. Yes, but their blood lives on in their direct descendants, the blood of the firstborn. But what were they sealing? The power Zalamir took? I am not sure. The language becomes especially difficult. Perhaps Renna can decipher this better than I can. It's far older than any Quaid I've ever seen before. Leaders of the free peoples, united. Field of great strife, conflict. The great king fell. That would be the Quaid king. Fell, but of his allies. Contained the wickedness, bound by sacrifice, Lord Ashanti, his loyal vizier, Komnat Kozar. And one more, stepping forward in time of calling, foot soldier, of the family Nafir, now lords of the royal collection? These 3 spilled their blood to contain the evil. Etzli Tenoch. Etzli Tenoch? I don't know, it's not a Kuwait word. It doesn't belong to any language I'm familiar with. Did you just say Etzli Tenoch? You know it? It's some sort of deity worshipped by the blood-mad tribes in the Far East. The blood drinker cults? My grandfather spent a good part of his reign trying to eradicate them. Oh, they don't drink it, they just paint things with it. Well, this is really interesting and everything, but there's a whole mess of Revenant headed this way. Oh, you needn't do anything. I just thought you might like to watch while I single-handedly take care of the situation. Well, not single-handedly. I'll have a little bit of help from Truth and Justice. Not to mention Thunder, Lightning, Carnage, Chaos, Triumph, and the Executor. Those are my apps. What's that you say? What about my galoots? I didn't ask. Don't worry, Kana Carissa won't be sitting this one out. Carissa? You named your ass Carissa? Oh, only half my ass. What about the part right below? Is that a separate muscle? I mean, I'd hate not to give it a name if it is, but I can't quite tell. It feels... Oh boy, Revenant are here, thank the gods. Okay, enemies here. Doesn't look like we've got armored enemies yet, but they might come in later. Let's see, maybe... I can unpause for a bit, see if I get any armored enemies. Okay, I can't quite tell. Yeah, this map is not the most fun. You just don't have a good place to put your melee fighters, I guess. Yeah, I think the ice mages are not going to be much use here. Well, if I increase their range, they could be okay. Back here go the dragons. I'll put a healer, I don't know where, don't know yet. Okay, once I upgrade you, you're gonna be fine from here. And then the healer goes here. Okay, and one boosty, and almost have enough for a second boosty. Okay, not really ideal so far. Well, I survived, but somewhat injured. Injuried. Why would I want to say injuried? It's not even a word. Okay, I can improve Frenzy even more. I think that's the last of them. This writing. Astra, how long has your family worked in the Royal Library? I remember visiting my great-grandfather there when I was a girl. As far as I know, my family has always been there. Our family name literally means of the library. It says here that the foot soldier... Yo, check this out! A map of the pit? Is that a... Hey, don't you go stealing my cartographical thunder! As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, it's a map of the pit, complete with... Dramatic pause. An exit! Okay. One more journal entry. The evil inside. Ugh. Selenat said in his second letter to King Vacalaman, when men embrace the evil inside themselves, there can be no victors. It is a bitter lesson to be reminded of one's own failings. I had believed myself to be a true and ardent follower of Selenat, a pride that I see now as itself a grave fault. But surely, I reasoned, one such as I, steeped in verses from childhood, regular patron of the temple, could consider herself on the righteous path. Despite this, I secretly held throughout my life the delusion that evil was something purely external. First it was the Quaid, architects of all the pain and misery I ever saw throughout my early life. While I read daily about the evil in my own heart, I secretly told myself that none of it could compare to the evil of the armies of the East, murderers and ravagers, men who had made themselves animals. All around me the lamentations of widows, the weeping of orphans, the cries of crippled veterans, all the keening of the city was made by my selfish mind into words of affirmation. No evil I harbor, I said in my heart, can be equal to this. Even in this current adventure, which has served to disabuse me of many misconceptions, I maintained this fantasy of purity. No matter the secret thoughts of my heart, I could point to Ozamol or Zelomir and say, there is the true evil. The way of Selenat, in usual circuitous fashion, has showed to me the grievous folly of my secret beliefs. Here, in the belly of this dead city, clutched in the hand of what had once been a Knight of Ash, I found a scroll. In the flowering calligraphy of a skillful hand were written the following words: My dearest Master Elder, in response to your excommunication, I would like to clarify that I have only ever acted in complete moral adherence to the tenets of our faith. You proclaim that the decimation of the prisoners under my care violates the responsibility of my position and my duty before the unmoved mover. But I assure you that the opposite is true. You remember, no doubt, when the enemy came against the city of Turna. Seeking to terrify the rest of Ash into submission, they swore that no quarter would be offered to the beleaguered defenders. On that black day when the city fell, we saw that oath to be true. But the enemy was not content with the massacre of the garrison and turned their fury on the populace, disregarding age, youth, and sex in their senseless rage. By the day's end, 30,000 men, women, and children lay slaughtered. Turna was nothing but ashes, populated by scarcely enough souls to recount the horror of what was done there. For this reason is my every 10th prisoner burned alive. Until 30,000 die by my hand, the immolations shall continue, for the edification of the prisoners and the achievement of true balance. This is my solemn oath by the very gold of the fountain, and not even the threats of misguided clerics shall keep me from honoring it. General Kesnimond Kelridos. I knew this man. I see, as if lit by lightning, the great darkness that lurks in every soul. More than any other, I see it in my own. How easy it would be to embrace corruption rather than fight it. There is a sweet and familiar taste difficult to describe. Have I lived so long with hate that I have grown to love it? I look at the horror on the page before me and I see the vilest sin. But how easy it would have been to commit. How sweet it would have felt to drink deeply from that secret stream in my heart, to inflict the pain and loss, to feel my soul dance with the dark joy of revenge. I think of Rena weeping in her tent, my evil inflicted by my modest means. What would I have done with true power? When men embrace the evil inside themselves, there can be no victors. Okay, and on that light note, let's end the episode. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.